I would like to go to the next chapter of this panel, which is understanding the beginning transformation and the transformative potential of real-world evidence. So Jochen, in the past, products have been released and validated primarily through RCTs, static non-continuous development. Given real-world evidence can generate new insights while a product already is in the market, how will this affect the development and updates of new products and product life cycles in the future in many different fields, pharma, medical devices, digital solutions, etc.?
Well, actually, I would like to start even earlier, right? I mean, that would mean we keep the old system, we develop for a lot of money something, and then we throw it on the market, and then we look, does it work or does it not work, right? I think we have to get away from that, and we have to start very, very early and say, okay, even in designing, and we have just heard the talk from Victoria and some really great examples on how patients are actually also doing that and say, hey, you know, I want to get engaged here, I want to solve the problem, so let's work together. And I think that's exactly what we need to do. So we need to go early, engage patients, engage physicians, engage whoever needs to use that product, co-create with them in a sandbox. I think that's part of the title is the sandbox, because yeah, it's not about playing, but it's about experimenting. It's about trying out stuff early on. Then you get already your first experiments or real-world experience back from the people that are actually supposed to use that. And then, of course, you have to continue that. So it's a continuous process. It's difficult because it's from a regulatory perspective difficult. It's difficult from an outcome measurement because how to measure outcome in the real world. Or at the beginning, when you have very small patient cohorts, very small experiments, there are multiple challenges on that one, but I still believe it's the only one and the only way to be successful in the future.
Mm-hmm. So there are different ways how real-world data will transform medicine, and one area is certainly regulatory. So Margaret, how will real-world evidence change the regulatory landscape and also the pathways?
Yes, so one of the things that I believe is really important is to work with the systems and infrastructure and authorities in place today, and as a partner where possible to really pioneer new regulatory standards. So I know frameworks exist for real-world evidence. I can say that our companies recently received the first FDA market authorization for AI in pathology ever. And that involved the creation of a new diagnostic device category and a very long and very strategic engagement with the FDA in order to receive that. And so I do think that it's important that you work with the systems today and as a partner, you know, navigate where standards don't exist or and with clinical leaders. I mean, another example is there are not approved and robust guidelines today on how to validate in a real workflow the use of these tools, and so we support and work with clinical leaders to create those guidelines because they need to be in place for widespread adoption. So I think it's a combination of, you know, being bold and having a vision of what the standards need to be, but also work within the existing systems where possible.
Absolutely, that's also my experience, like in the projects that we did in the past.